Welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. That's right. You can read the title. Michael Jordan separated himself, not only from all players that played in the NBA, but from what we know and what most people consider the top 10, which are these guys right here, who will be rearranged in certain order into the top 5. And Michael Jordan, as number 1 player of all time, was able to separate himself from these guys. The Birds, the Magics, the Kareems, the Wilts, the Duncans, the Russells, the Kobes, the Hakeems. Maybe you can throw some other guys in here because, you know, a lot of people got different top 10s, top 5s. But for the most part, people agree that this is the top 10 right here of guys in whatever order. In that Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. And it's not even close. Because why? He separated himself from all these other guys. Not just what you see on the screen. With the championships, the finals MVPs, and the statistical titles, which we can use, that's enough right there. But he was never happy with just that. He was making sure there was no doubt that he was the greatest of all time by separating himself in many different ways. And we'll talk about this. So many things right here. Not just these finals MVPs, these MVPs, championship and statistical titles. So let's go over some of these things that some of them are records and some of them are just greatness that separated Michael Jordan from these other guys that you'll say, man, that's incredible that this guy was able to do these things and these other guys couldn't. Not that these other guys didn't do great things and weren't great players. But let me say this, and I've said this before, that it was a standard in the NBA, and there might be a standard in whatever sport to be the greatest. NFL, baseball, maybe hockey, soccer, whatever like that. There was always a standard to me. And, you know, you had the standard was Wilt and Russell. In whatever way you want to look at it, maybe you could say George Mikan, right? So you could say his championships, 5 championships was a standard. Okay? And not only his 5 championships, the man was considered the greatest player of all time at the time. So for those coming after him, you know, like the Bill Russells, the Wilt Chamberlains, who were the next up, they had to one-up this guy. Okay? And we seen that with Bill Russell, one-up them with the championships, maybe the MVPs, maybe statistically. And then you saw the Wilt Chamberlain up Mike in as far as the statistical titles, the individual game statistics, all these different things. And then you had the next line of guys like Kareem. You know, he was trying to one-up what these guys did. You know, and it just went on and on. And these guys were trying to one-up each other and trying to separate each other from each other to be the greatest of all time. And it just won't be one thing. It just won't be 2 things. We can look at these guys and look at different things in their careers. You know, and then it went on to Magic, Bird, then it went on to Jordan. And then, you know, even Kobe and Shaq took that, and then Duncan ran with it. And we got the LeBron who kind of sidestepped that and took the easy approach instead of... I think he would have been on that path if he would have stayed in Cleveland, and he could have done some. He was already doing incredible things, but he took the easy way out. So that's what I'm talking about. Michael Jordan. It wasn't just about the championships, the finals MVPs, the MVPs, the statistical titles. It was about everything. And let's look at the separation. Michael Jordan comes back from. He's supposed to be out the rest of the regular season. In the second year, right? Comes back because he had a broke foot. Comes back against Boston, one of the best teams of all times. And What's he do? Has the highest scoring game of all time as a second-year player on a broken leg. I mean, a lot of LeBron fans, a lot of times they're like bewildered about a lot of stuff about Michael Jordan. Oh man, it's just the championships, man. No, we were seeing this stuff back then. Like, who does this? You can't come off a broken foot and drop a playoff scoring record in a game that still holds true to this day, and then average 43 points per game on that same Boston team. These are the things that Michael Jordan was already doing in the beginning of his career to separate himself. Yeah, he couldn't win the championships yet and the MVPs, but he was showing you that I'm going to start this separation so when my career ends, this is another thing you can point to. His first year as a rookie led his team in 4 statistical categories. Even Wilt Chamberlain didn't do that. Even though Wilt Chamberlain did incredible things, if I'm mistaken, as a rookie and won MVP. Let's look at this. In the playoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 seasons in the playoffs averaged 30 points per game or more. It was only one season when he didn't, and that was his rookie season. It was 29.3. In the same breath, guess what? He never was outscored in a series, except for that one series, the 29.3 points per game in his rookie season. And so let's look at something else. We all know this. Michael Jordan had 2 3-peats. Never lost in the championship as a top 10 player of all time. Top 5 player of all time. And never seen a game 6. We know that Michael Jordan, what was it? Probably about at least 5 out of the 6 has, well, we won't say that. We'll just say Michael Jordan has the most historical NBA finals of all time. As far as his performances, you know, from the Portland, you can't shoot the 3. How they put it on the Lakers 4-1. That series, what he did to the Suns, put it on them, 41 points per game. And then we look at the flu game. Then we look at the last shot. It just, check this out. Jordan never choked, but instead he got better in the clutch. Big games. Game 7s, 33.7 points per game, 7.7 rebounds, 7 assists. Elimination games, 31.3 points per game, 7.9 rebounds, and 7 assists. Final games, 36.8 points per game, 7.2 rebounds, 6.6 assists. 8 playoff games of 50-plus points. 38 playoff games with 30-plus points. 1,072 consecutive 10-point games or more. Never under 10 points in a playoff game. Is that a series or game? No, I think it's a game. Regular season, 30.1 points per game. Playoffs, 33.4 points per game. Finals, 33.6 points per game. 8 seasons of 30 points per game plus. 12 playoff runs, average 30 points per game. 8 playoff games, 50 points plus. 38 playoff games, 40 points. So, woof. 50 points in 8 playoff games, 40 points in 30 playoff games. I think we've seen this one. Never under 15 points in the playoffs in a game. 30 points per game in a playoff series 5 times. 10 straight scoring titles, 10 scoring titles, 7 in a row. Let me see. Oh, 6 consecutive playoff scoring titles. So we talk about other things like Jordan beat the guys in his class. Right? When we talk about class, we talk about, to me, it's the season before you came into the NBA. We talk about draft, the same season or the season after. That's what I would consider your class of guys. Like when we talk about Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas, that's not Jordan's class. We would consider Charles Barkley, 84, Drexler, 83, Malone, 85, Stockton, 84, and Ewing, 85. Right? He basically stopped all these guys in the regular season or the finals. Now, we could say Hakeem, okay, whatever. He would play a whole season that season. What about this? 10 scoring titles, only averaging 1.7 3-point attempts in his career. That's crazy. Part of the greatest duels of all time, or duos, right? Him and Scottie Pippen, 6 championships in 6 tries. You can't say that about nobody else. The closest was Cousy and Bill Russell, right? They went to 7 finals and got 6. So they lost 1. Jordan with the most buzzer beaters of all times, playoffs, finals, and regular season. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Most buzzer beaters of all time. Let's look at this. First championship at 28. Right? Didn't have an all-star teammate. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't have a all-NBA teammate. I got to go look at that. I don't think so. But I know he didn't have an all-star teammate. And at 35, did not have an all-star teammate. That has never been done. 2 hardest championships to ever win. We talked about this before, that Detroit was going for a 3-peat, which would have been a dynasty in the Eastern Conference Finals on Micheal Jordan's head. The Lakers in the finals was going for another dynasty, 87, 88, and back in the finals in 91, which would have been 3 and 5 years. So Mike stopped 2 dynasties from happening in back-to-back series. Who can say that? Who can say that? And hey, if he didn't do it, I don't know if he would have lost to either one of those teams, it would have been doubt that he was the greatest of all time. And this is what we're talking about right here. He's leaving no doubt. And he went through those playoffs in 91 just destroying people. I think he lost 1. Who was that? To the Knicks? He might have lost 1, I think. Or was it Philly? And then got to the Pistons and destroyed them in a sweep. And then destroyed the Lakers. So he not only did he stop 2 dynasties from happening on his head, he went through those finals. He was pretty pissed off, the Bulls were. So that's another thing. Let me see. Dominated the 90s. Never lost 3 in a row. From 90 to 98, 6 times won 60 plus games. 2 times won 69 plus games. Never lost 3 in a row, like I said. From 91 to 98, 19-1 versus the Eastern Conference in the playoffs. 6-0 versus the Western Conference in the playoffs. That would be the finals. 25-1 versus the NBA in the playoffs or finals. Beat 10 teams that won 50 or more games. Beat 7 teams that won 60 or more games. That was all from 91 and 98. And that's why I really don't like using that whole it's great. I'm not trying to knock Kobe. Oh man, Kobe beat these 50-win teams. Well, Jordan beat more 60-win teams. And if you want to combine them, 50 and 60. But we really never hear that from Michael Jordan. In the parody in the 90s, remember, they said it was watered down, it was weak, but look at all these teams winning 60 games. That's just the teams he beat. He beat 7 of them. That's not all the teams that was winning 60 games. That's just the ones he beat. And then you see all the 50-win teams in the NBA. So let me see here. 6 championships with 1 all-star teammate. You look at Kareem, right? And he did all this stuff with 1 all-star teammate, basically. But when we look at the all-star, 6-0 in the championship game. Look at Kareem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all-star teammates in his career in winning championships. Magic, 1, 2, 3, 4 teammates. Kobe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all-star teammates. Russell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 all-star teammates. In Russell had 12 Hall of Fame teammates during his career. Bird's not on here, but he got a lot too. LeBron, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all-star teammates. Michael Jordan, 1. And that's what we're talking about. He was leaving no doubt that he was the greatest of all time. 11-0 in championship play. Never lost. Never lost at all, whether it was in the college, the FIBA 2 times, the Olympics 2 times, or the NBA Finals 6 times. Still, most NBA accolades in NBA history. Let me see. 70, I think it's 73 to this day. And guess what? He got 71 of those in only 13 seasons, his first 13 seasons. And if you want to be real, we can say 11. You know, we got to count quarter seasons just to, you know, for LeBron and his GOAT debate. Seasons of 18 and another season with 15 games. Could you imagine them counting those for LeBron? Those were, come on, man, that would be out the door. But we always got to help other people. Michael Jordan didn't need help. He helped himself to be the greatest of all time by doing these things, by separating himself. He helped himself. So we already went over that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In a 7-year span. No, we won't even go over that. We already know that. Most people can say this. Michael Jordan was the greatest two-way player of all time. And why I don't put Wilt Chamberlain with him? Because Michael Jordan was more consistent in the playoffs, in the finals, as far as the offensive end. So, yeah, I can't put Wilt over Michael Jordan. I just can't. 10-time scoring champion, 9-time first defensive team, defensive player of the year, 3 steals titles. Michael Jordan is the greatest two-way player of all time. 6 seasons in a row with 200+ steals. And the only player to have back-to-back 100+ block seasons in back-to-back 200+ steal seasons. The only people to do that is, what, Pippen and Hakeem, and only had it for 1 season. Michael had it in back-to-back seasons. So if you guys can think of some more things, let me know. Um, I, this guy has a channel, and it's like an hour long of Michael Jordan's records. It's mind boggling. I can't really. It's really mind boggling. And I know it's probably more records out there that I didn't say or I didn't talk about. Let me see if I can find some more things. Oh yeah, we could talk about the '88 season. We know about that, where he cleaned up all the awards. Wasn't that the season where Pippen came and took Jordan over the top? They make it sound like Mike was sitting there scoring like 20 points a game, grabbing 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and here comes Pippen. And he started putting up 25 points per game, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. Wow. You just got to imagine how Pippen feels. He's coming in his rookie season, and this guy is putting up these numbers and putting up all around great stats and numbers and doing all this stuff. Pippen's got to be like, damn. Because Pippen, what did he average? Like 8 points per game in the regular season, 3.8 rebounds, 2 assists. And we talked about this before. The only reason why Scottie Pippen got to play in that '88 season in the playoffs, they had nobody else. Remember, Pippen was a bench warmer the whole damn season, and it was so bad they didn't have anybody else. And I saw FYF Sports. This is the fakest Michael Jordan fan of all time. He's a fake dude, period. He had something about, I think it was last night. I didn't even watch the video. He talking about Michael Jordan's heartbreak, '88 playoffs or playoff game or whatever. Like, what's this guy talking about? What's this guy talking about? Michael Jordan put up like 30 something versus the Pistons. We all know he put up like 40 something points per game against Cleveland, which got him to the next round. Finally, that he didn't have to play 5 Hall of Famers. It's just the nonsense, man. These dudes, yes, Mike might have had a bad game. Everybody has a bad game, but for the series, basically, Mike is going against all these guys. They had like 4 Hall of Famers on one team, and plus the guys who aren't Hall of Famers, the Mark Aguirres, the Vinny the Microwave, the Bill Lambiers. All these guys could shoot from the perimeter, and nobody on the Bulls could shoot from the perimeter. Not even Scottie Pippen that year, who averaged like 9 points per game or something like that against the Pistons. What's this guy talking about? And Scottie averaged like 10 against the Cavs in the first round, which is nothing. That right there, that right there will get you traded or benched if you was playing with LeBron James. 10 points per game. Let me see here. Yeah, I should have put that on here. Jordan got 160-point game without even attempting a 3. 6 50-point games without even attempting a 3-pointer. 41 40-point games without even attempting a 3-pointer. And I don't even see that. I got to put that up there one day. I still got that. And I didn't even put the 30 points. 30-point games without attempting the 3-pointer. And that's why you don't see these guys shoot the mid-range today, because it's a tougher shot. It's a tougher shot. When you're working outside that paint, inside the 3-point line at these different angles, it's a tough shot. Because you gotta have real good touch. To me, I'm not trying to say Patrick Ewing is the greatest center of all time, but to me he's the greatest shooting center of all time. And I don't even think it's close. And you kind of feel bad for the guy because he you know, up until what? I don't know. 98. I didn't see it. I didn't see him with an all-star teammate or an all-NBA teammate. But guess what? Those Knicks were there every time as a team. And Michael Jordan only had one more. Scottie Pippen as his all-star teammate and Scottie Pippen as his all-NBA teammate. Man, they had Rodman, man. Let me tell you, nobody wanted Rodman. Anybody in that East could have got Rodman. Forget Rodman was on the Spurs and couldn't take them over the hump. Couldn't take him over the hump. And that was a good Spurs team. And I said that earlier in a video. Look, if I had a chance to take David Robinson or Kevin Durant, I'm taking David Robinson all day. Because I know David Robinson can give me 23 to 25 points per game on a consistent basis. He can get me 10 plus rebounds, get me 2 plus blocks. What can Kevin Durant do for me? 7 rebounds for a 7-footer? This guy can't play no defense. So he's just a one-dimensional player in the game. I'm taking David Robinson all day. All day. And that's why when I tell you guys, the 90s was the greatest two-way players of all times. Michael Jordan beat an era of great big men that when he retired, those big men were winning. When he retired again, those big men were winning again. Guess what? We told you before, he wasn't supposed to win that first championship. They had the Lakers stomping them out, right? So the West was on top. Actually, they had Portland going to the championship, and whoever from the East went was going to get beat by Portland. But the Lakers won. But they had the Lakers winning, so the West was stronger than the East, right? But Jordan won, railed off a three-peat, retired. The West wins back-to-back. Jordan then plays a full season and wins 3 in a row. Guess what? Jordan retires. And guess what? That West railed off 5 in a row. They won 5 in a row. So if you didn't appreciate Michael Jordan's East competition and you say it was weak, he beat the West too. But one all-star teammate, right? One all-NBA player, and we went through this in a separate video, that all these other teams had the same or more as far as all-NBA players and all-star players on the team. So it debunks everything. Michael Jordan won in the big man's league. But what I'm saying is I'll take those 90 players over the 210s, the 2000s, even now, because they were two-way players in the 90s. The Hakeems, the David Robinsons, the Michael Jordans, the Scottie Pippens, all these great players. Now, some of them weren't great two-way players as far as their offense, but for the most part, they played defense. And defense wins championships, as we saw with the Celtics. The greatest defensive team I've seen in years in the NBA. So, you got any more? Let me know. Tell me what you think.